Kelvin, the defensive ferocity you guys came out with, forcing a shot clock the first possession. I think 6 turnovers those first 8 minutes. What was the key to that defensive effort
I just keep
overall?
doing what we've been doing. We did that against Troy. We did it against Toledo. And we're a good defensive team.
What are your thoughts on the defense today as a whole compared to the season?
I felt like we went out there and executed the game plan. We knew where we needed to be on and off the ball, so we went out there and just played hard, and I felt like we've been doing that most of the season, but today I felt like we finished it off with a rebound. Team's been beating us on the glass, but I don't think they beat us on the glass today, so yeah.
Kelvin, inside, outside, you feel like that's the best maybe that you guys have been all
Plus
year?
today, every game's different. We had a game plan, how we wanted to guard their actions. Wherever it is. As I've said many times, defense is a mechanism that's built to guard various actions. Middle pick and roll, side pick and roll, slot pick and roll, cross screen, side screen, down screen, flare screen. We work as hard as we can as a staff to have our kids prepared. But we knew that this team was capable of hurting you from the three-point line. And, we made a couple mistakes that we cleaned up. But they're really good at that. Our biggest thing defensively was, well, I'm not going to tell you what it was because we may play this team again. So you guys are going to have to play a guessing game on that. But offensively, we can play different ways. BYU played the post different than Oklahoma State, and I'm sure TCU will be different than BYU. Every game we play is a different game. Really, how they play is we'll see. I thought J1 was waiting too much for the double instead of going. If you notice the second half, he caught it and attacked. But we had there's 3 or 4 things that we just had to. I don't know if adjust is the right word. We just kind of changed channels and did some things where we tried. If we can get the ball inside and get it moving, we're going to get a lot of corner threes. Some days they go in, some days they don't. When it goes in, your team always looks better than it actually is. When it doesn't, it looks worse than it actually is. For us, it comes down to rebounding. We try to rebound as many misses as we can. We missed 30 shots a day and had 15 offensive rebounds. That's our identity, has been for a long time. Chris asked me a question. He's seen us. We do what we do. We didn't do anything different today.
Coach in the back, after those early 3 losses in the season, the team's turned around now. What changed for the team, and how do you feel about how you guys are clicking right now on a 6-game winning streak?
Well, the biggest thing was growth. I think every team's going to grow. I didn't care about those losses. The uneducated or uninitiated always makes a bigger deal out of things than they actually are. Who cares about November losses? We could have not played those teams, played a bunch of nobodies and won, and we're way better than people think we are. I think those 3 losses helped us. We had a chance to win all 3, by the way. We're up 9 on Auburn. We're up 4 with under 2 minutes to go against Alabama. We had the ball to win both games in regulation, Alabama and San Diego State. I think that's where we've gotten better is Uzan. He's gotten better. A lot of times your offense, if you're a football team, will be as good as your quarterback is. It's not that he played poorly. He played the way he was supposed to play in November. That's called November basketball. It's different than January basketball, different than February. You get better as you go. So we tried to use those opportunities to further entrench ourselves in how we want to play, but it's a process. You know, you don't start off in November playing March basketball, unless you're Auburn. They started off playing March basketball. I haven't figured out how to do that yet.
Thank you, Coach. And for LJ, it's been 6 games in a row now that you guys play with the same starting 5. How does it feel for you guys playing on the court? You know, how does that facilitate things for you as far as the chemistry goes, playing with the same 5 guys?
I mean, we comfortable with whoever in the game, honestly. In practice, we mix it up as well as go with that 5 in practice. So I feel like we have a pretty good connection, rather, no matter who's on the court. So, yeah.
Coach, that early defense, does that help get you into offense? Does the defense help
Yeah.
you? Can you talk a little bit about just that part of how
Yeah.
it gets you going?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if this is the first time you guys have seen us, but we've led the nation in defensive field goal percentage, I think, last 3 years. So for me, I see this a lot. You know, it's the way we guard, you know. I don't know what our home court winning streak is. What is it? We've won 30 games for a reason. I mean, we can guard. But today, you know, we were especially in the passing lanes with our length. You know, our athleticism and our length causes a lot of problems, especially when the 3 guys behind it. You know, the thing about playing pick and roll defense is not the 2 guys that's involved at the point of attack, is where the other 3 are. That's the key. It takes 5 people to guard the pick and roll, not 2. It takes 5. And that's where a lot of our deflections and steals come from. Because what looks like maybe a passing lane or a guy being open, sometimes it's like a mirage. He's not really open because we're on our way there, because that's our responsibility. And that's where we get a lot of steals and deflections. But our discipline is getting better, you know. Like I thought, 2 of the things that I really wanted us to be good at today was to stay down on closeout shot fakes. Because if you watch them play, that's how they get in the lane, is off shot fakes. I don't think we went for a shot fake all day. That's growth. We couldn't do that November 9th or November 20th or November 30th, you know. And whether we won those games or lost those games, we had to continue to get better. But discipline is a big part of team defense. Now, we got some guys that are still evolving there. Like JoJo can get undisciplined at times. It's not because of lack of effort. Sometimes it's experience. But JVR, for instance, started every game last year for us at the 5. He missed 3 weeks earlier this year with an injury. Let JoJo kind of stick his nose in front of him. And but now we've got 2 starting 5s. You know, it's like BYU's got 2 starting 5s with Keita and Traore. You know, so do we with our 2 guys. And good teams over the course of a season, you have to have that depth. But our defense, a lot of nights, is our best offense. It gets us out running. I thought we're really – how many fast break points we have tonight? With 13 fast break points, scored 24 points off their turnovers. We had 18 second chance points. We do that a lot.
Kelvin, Oklahoma State on Monday and then today, do you feel like with your front court, the length has started to come around in terms of what the ability to maybe alter shots, block them, JVA coming and giving you some good minutes, all that sort of coming together
Yeah.
a little bit more?
Yeah, when I sat down and, you know, as we were putting our roster together, you know, these 2 guys are. I don't know if they're going to make all conference. I have no idea about that stuff, but they're all conference guys. But we got a lot of guys that are all conference in their roles. You know, whether other people recognize it for how they evaluate it, I don't really care. But JVR was all conference tonight in his role. So was Terrence. So was Mercy. I don't know if anybody saw it. Mercy is learning a lot from LJ. He's learning how to be mature. He's learning not to go out there and start vomiting shots up. That's just silly. He's learning maturity. As something that's always been a big part of our culture here is our older guys teaching our younger guys. And our player leadership has it's always been there. Every year people overreact to the players we lose. How are you going to replace Damian Dotson? How are you going to replace Fabian, Josh, Kyler, Quentin Grimes, Marcus Sasser, Jamal Shev? We got a ton of NBA guys. How are we going to replace them? I say every year, I don't worry about it. I never have. I just try to make our team better. I try to get our team together. Here's what we have. I could care less about what we don't have. They're not part of this team. The only thing I care about is the guys own the team. Here's our team. Here's where we start. We're going to try to get better and better as we go. And I've known all along that this team had a high ceiling. But the key for good teams, and we're fortunate to we've had a lot of good teams, whether it's Final Four teams or Elite Eight teams, whatever. But those teams usually didn't take a step back, because they depend on the things that our identity requires. Here's how you have to play in this program. Here's what's required of you, and there's an accountability that goes with that is non-negotiable. And that's how we take what we have and we make them play the way we play.
Juan, did you make a decision yourself to be more aggressive in attacking their defense in the second half?
My defense?
Make a decision yourself to be more aggressive attacking their defense,
Oh,
their
yeah.
defense.
I was kind of hesitant in the first half, waiting for them to double me. So even in the huddles or even when we were on the court, we just talked about making my moves faster and don't let them double you. So it was a goal of mine to, when I get it, just try to get to my move real quick so they don't come. So I think I kind of executed that good in the second half, and I kind of got comfortable doing it.
Would you like to see Milos be more aggressive on his shots today?
Yeah.
He's doing what he's coached to do. That's not an accident. And I thought he passed up some. He's just got to continue to be aggressive. You guys see what you see, but we know what we know. I can't tell you. I thought the best defensive player on the floor today was L.J. Cryer. Period. Best defensive player on the floor today was L.J. Cryer. His defense and his leadership. And I think L.J.'s helping Juan, too. These two guys are like a lot of the great leaders we've had here in the past, whether it was Justin Gorham or Fabian or Jamal or Marcus, Quentin, Dejan. We've always been blessed with great leadership. And I don't think we had that early in November. That was still part of the things that all teams are sorting out. That's why I don't care about records or stuff that people have no idea what they care about. But we've had a lot of things happen that's required a lot of pain and discomfort and uncomfortability. But you come through that. Once you come through that, hey, okay, here's who we are now. And let's just continue the course. This is always going to be a defense first, rebound program, but that doesn't mean that we're not trying to score points. Some nights we don't score because the ball don't go in. You ever notice that? Offensively, you're as good as the shots go in. Tonight we didn't play probably 86-point basketball. If we'd have scored 76 points, I'd be just as happy. I don't care how many points we score, as long as we win. That's more important.
We have time for two more questions. Go to Charles, and then release in the back. Oh, sorry, pardon, Chris. Go, Chris.
Kelvin, Terrence's improvement as a shooter, what does that unlock
Day
for
to day.
this group?
Didn't improve against Oklahoma State. So don't overreact to that, and don't overreact to this one, please. It's amazing how people overreact to shit that don't matter. These kids are human beings. They're going to have good shooting days, and they're going to have bad shooting days. He wasn't a bad shooter against Oklahoma State, and he ain't Steph Curry now. So just ride with the tide, man. It's the way it is. It's like LJ. LJ's going to finish the year with around 100 and some threes. Some days they go in, sometimes they don't. I just don't overreact to none of it. And I highly recommend you do the same thing. When he has a good game, don't start acting like he's Steph Curry. He's the best shooter ever. No, he's not. He's liable to make none the next game. You never know. I mean, that's just the way it is, right?
For Juwan, in recent years, we've grown accustomed to seeing you guys being ranked in the top spots in the nation. You come into this one ranked 14. My question is, how indicative is it of how good a team is, the rankings, and then also when you think about future goals as far as climbing those rankings as the season progresses?
We don't really worry about that, especially with the rankings. They don't really mean that, especially for us. It's just a number next to the name, and anybody can beat anybody on any given night. So most times around college basketball, there's a lot of upsets. So the number one team doesn't really matter. You can get beat by a team that's not ranked. So having a number by your name doesn't really matter. We just try to get better every day, you know, keep the people around us close, and just have confidence in each other. You know, going out every game, knowing that we're going to get the other team's hardest, and they're going to get our hardest too. So just staying within each other, just trying to play hard every night.